So, how many of you out there like gnomes? For Gnomegan!
Given the recent political upheaval in Ironforge, the gnomes have suddenly found themselves unwelcomed guests within the city. Leveraging their ingenious technologies and unquenchable spirit for adventure, the gnomes have begun to reevaluate their role within Cosmodan. Under the inventive leadership of High Tinker Gelbin Mechatork, the gnomes now plan a daring campaign against the barbarous Trogs to retake their former capital of Gnomeregan. With the odds stacked against them, the gnomes are counting on brave heroes such as you to stand and be counted. Your people's greatest hour draws near.
So, some of the extra context about this is, well, to this day, believe it or not, they still have not retaken Gnomeregan. So, there were a couple of big events. One was called Operation Gnomeregan. In fact, it was an event that happened leading up to Cataclysm, if I recall. If it was one of those pre-launch events, I think, where you actually had tons and tons of players show up to basically try to help Mechatork. We are gonna retake Gnomeregan for the gnomes, and it was a failure. They still to this day have not retaken it. There was also a big bomb that was set off basically right over there. In fact, you'll notice I am basically glowing green. That's because I have a debuff right now called Irradiated, exposed to high levels of radiation and in danger of degenerating into a leper gnome. That is a carryover from what happened, where a big bomb, basically, not a nuclear bomb, but like an irradiation bomb, basically went off to... It killed a lot of gnomes, basically. Yeah. Also, it has a carryover. I can't show it to you. I was gonna go to the adventure guide and look at the Gnomeregan dungeon to basically show that what in that dungeon, the boss you face, that has to do with someone who is trying to basically challenge Mechatork for leadership and rule over the gnomes and Gnomeregan. Yeah. And also, some of the stuff that's talking about in terms of that the gnomes right now are not exactly feeling welcome in Ironforge, that's something I'll go into more when we get to our dwarf character. In case you're wondering, I found this hairstyle, and I could not resist, because I immediately was like, Marty! I've become a gnome! Great Scott! Or rather, Great Scott, Marty! I'm a gnome! Also, I chose a warlock because, well, again, I can't go to the adventure guide, but should the whole thing that happened with Taraxa, Seradar, Lord of the Burning Legion, should that give you a hint as to why I'm playing a gnome warlock? Anyways, we have to break through those mindless leper gnomes if we want to get out of here alive. My name is Nevin Twistwrench, and I am the commander of the Survivor Assistance Facilitation Expedition, or SAFE. I don't know how you managed to survive the radiation down here, Papaneeks, but most of the others haven't fared so well. My team is rounding up the survivors, but the radiation-addled leper gnomes are too numerous for us to hold back much longer. They've lost their minds. If you're still strong enough to wield a weapon or cast a spell, would you help us clear out some of these leper gnomes? Right. So yeah, crazed leper gnomes. Actually, hold on a second. Okay, so obviously a couple things I gotta take care of here. Alright, let's see. Go go ahead and equip those just to make this a little smoother and easier to go through. There we go. There's nothing wrong with me at all. I don't know what you're talking about. Tattered Dreadnought Strobos. I'm just a little surprised that that's what it looks like. Alright. So yeah, there's quite a bit of radiation throughout this area. Alright, so also let me take a moment to kind of show you. So you'll notice I have a racial ability called Escape Artist. It escapes the effects of any immobilization or movement speed reduction effects, which is a big deal later on in the late game, basically, especially with a 1 minute cooldown. They have Nimble Fingers. Your haste is increased by 1%. Haste, you know, there's going to be various different stats you have to deal with and learn as you play. Like haste is basically like, you know, attack speed and such. They have arcane resistance, reduces arcane damage taken by 1%. Of course, if you're playing a warlock, it's cloth. Their maximum mana is increased by 5%. This is a big reason why a lot of, you know, the idea is that gnomes are very, very good as either a spellcaster, as either a mage or a warlock. And engineering skill increased by 15. Of course, this makes sense with them being very much into tinkering. And engineering, it's something you deal with once you actually learn about professions. That's a whole different thing that you'll learn later on.
Can I help you?
Well done. My men can take it from here. Let's focus on getting the other survivors out now. I'm going to start preparing my men to leave this place. We can't hold out here any longer. I want you to move to a forward position in the middle of the large room ahead. You should find Carbo Blastbolt there. He'll give you further instructions. Good luck, and I'll see you on the surface.
Daylight's burning.
Excuse me. Yeah, a lot of crazed leper gnomes around here. Really playing up the devastation and effect of that bomb that went off here with all the radiation.
Interesting.
Did Nevin send you ahead? Well, that means he's getting ready to end the mission, but there are still survivors to be rescued. We have to help them. If we don't do something quick, neither Nevin nor the survivors will make it out of here alive. I'm going to give you my squad's emergency teleport beacon. We still have enough strength and ammunition to find our way out of here, but those survivors are in no condition to make us run for it. Use the beacon on survivors to arrange for them to be teleported out of here to the safe area my men have set up. Once you have done that, report back to me and we'll make arrangements to get you out of here.
Be seeing you.
Teleport you out.
It's too far away.
They can also be, you know, with the... Basically, they're really good cloth wearers. Either mage, warlocks, or priests.
Hey.
I knew that Nevin will be pleased with all the survivors you managed to help. I still can't believe that you managed to stay so strong down here on the radiation. You've seen the shape of that the other survivors are in. Let's get you to the loading room for decontamination. You can follow me to the loading room, Papaneeks.
I'll be with you in a moment.
Excellent job gathering the other survivors. They, and you, are the reason safe teams keep coming down here. Nevin won't rest until we have found and rescued every possible survivor. I'm sending my men to the loading room to prepare for decontamination. Please follow them and meet up with Gaffer Coolspring when you arrive. She'll set you up for decontamination and have you on your way to the surface.
Off and away.
Yeah, this is basically just a small portion of Gnomergon. In case you're curious, the entrance to the dungeon is actually right over there. But that's, of course, much later, because you do not want to be going there right now. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to go there right now. No. No, you can't do that. Oh, there's actually a... Hold on. Let me see what this is over here. Ah, it's a pet tamer. Yeah, I'm not going to be going into the whole battle pet thing. That's kind of account level stuff, not really a brand new player stuff. That's something you can kind of learn and separately. Ah, a new rival. Right this way, sir.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's good to meet you, Warlock. We rarely come across survivors as strong and capable as you are. I can help get you decontaminated on your way out of here. You've been down here in Gnomergon for a long time, and it's amazing that you have survived and kept your wits so long.
If you've seen my hair, you wouldn't think that.
We need to get you out. Before we can send you to the surface to join the rest of the gnomes, you have to go through decontamination process. Just head into the next room and board the Sanatron 500. It will do the rest. It shouldn't even hurt much. When you're all done, check in with Technician Braggle, and he'll make sure that you get some suitable gear.
You have a great day now.
With Dunkomatic action.
Commencing decontamination sequence.
Just ignore the level 96 human mage just running by. Along with the other level 20 gnome warlock.
Not this again. I'm asking for a new station at next expedition. Decontamination complete. Stand by for delivery. Warning, system overload. Malfunction imminent. No, not the Sanatron. It was my pride and joy.
Greetings.
There, now you're fit to head off to the surface and start your new life. The High Tinker will be delighted to hear of your arrival. Nevin has just sent word that he and his men are making their way to the surface. He'll be waiting for you in the building that Safe has established as its headquarters. See Torben Snapblast over there? Well, talk to him, and when you're ready to head to the surface, he'll arrange to have you transported up there. It's been a pleasure meeting you, and I'm honored to have plays a small role in helping you escape from Gnomergon to start your life on the surface.
You have a great day now.
Hi, how are you?
Yes, gnomes have teleportation. Send me to the surface, Torben. Yeah, gnomes, yeah, they have quite a bit of pretty impressive technology.
It's good to see you again. Without your help, we wouldn't have been able to get so many survivors out of Gnomergon this time. Everyone is going to be thrilled to meet you and hear your story.
Right. Interesting.
It's a victory for us every time. Follow me, and I'll introduce you to your trainer.
Hold on a moment.
It's a victory for us every time we're able to help another survivor escape from the contaminated halls of Gnomergon. We're going to need all the help that we can get to reclaim our home and rid ourselves of the trogs and irradiated gnomes. To that end, our leader, High Tinker Mechatork, has assembled a team of trainers to help you learn your, arts. Alamar Grimm has taken up residence in this building just west of this one. He possesses powers similar to yours and can help you get adjusted.
Daylight's burning.
Of course, the warlock trainer.
Salutations.
Ah, so another one of Nevin's rescued survivors, eh? More than likely you saved his life from the trogs down there. Did he stumble over his words when he mentioned me? The man has a healthy respect for the demonic powers that we channel. I don't know if you'll remember Mechatork or not. Nevin tells me that memory loss is pretty common for a Gnomergon survivor. Mechatork, or more properly, the High Tinker Mechatork, is the leader of all the gnomes. He has made a habit of meeting with every rescued survivor personally. You should introduce yourself to him. He'll be with his war council beneath a tent in the center of the town.
Be seeing you.
And we have a human driving us around. There's Mechatork. And there is Raslo Crushcog. There's Kelsey Steelspark. I find that funny considering the role she plays later, but anyways.
There's always time to tinker.
It's good to meet you. You've probably heard others speaking of Operation Gnomregan. Let me tell you a bit about what happened and why we left the dwarven city of Ironforge. The dwarves of Ironforge kindly took us in when the Trog invasion and radiation forced us to leave Gnomregan for the first time, but even the kindness of friends can't quell the longing for home. I sent out a call for brave gnomes and other members of the Alliance to help us regain control of Gnomregan and defeat the usurper Thermoplug once and for all. We weren't able to achieve everything that Operation Gnomregan set out to do, but Thermoplug is on the run and we're closer to home than ever.
Remember, safety first.
We are closer than ever, even though to this day we have not claimed it.
Defeated Thermoplug's servants, fighting our way into the city. But the usurper Thermoplug had one last trick up his sleeve. It's too quiet. Where are Thermoplug's defense forces?
Why is it that one had...
No! I won't allow you into my kingdom, usurper! I won't allow it! Activate the ultimate atomic protection system! Disintegrate them all!
It's a trap! That's a fully functional irradiator!
Irradiator 3000 activated.
Attention.
Emergency. You now have 10 minutes to reach minimum safe distance.
10 minutes? Plenty of time to disarm the device. Hinkles, hand me that whirring bronze gizmo and some fresh spring water. Cogspin, toss me that dirty trog cloth and a handful of copper bolts.
10 minutes? You left the factory setting on? Give me that controller, you
Attention! Emergency. You now have 10 seconds.
We've got to get
reach
out of here!
minimum safe
Lapforge,
distance.
beam us back, quickly!
Yeah.
No, we were forced to retreat. Thermoplug continues to hide behind the radiation, sending his crony Crushcog to harass us here on the surface.
So yeah, that's why there was all that irradiation down there at Gnomregan.
When in doubt, plan it out.
Even now, only the safe teams dare to venture far into the city to search for survivors. Meanwhile, Thermoplug has sent one of his followers, Crushcog, to distract us and buy time for him to dig in. We will need all the weapons, inventions, and soldiers.
Again, it's so frustrating that some lines have voice acting and some don't.
It's been hard for our scouts to get information on what Crushcog is planning. What do we do now is that Crushcog is using an advanced mechano-tank prototype, and his irradiated gnomes are trying to repair more at the old arsenal. We're going to have a hard time handling this one alone. I sent a message to the dwarven capital of Ironforge asking for their support. A messenger reached us from Brenwall Village this morning. The dwarves are sending a squad of mountaineers to help us. We have to be in position to strike against Crushcog when the mountaineers arrive. With Crushcog defeated, Thermoplug is sure to be quaking in his mechanical tank, and rightly so. You're next, Thermoplug. You're next. Okay. Followers. Over to the northeast, you'll find Engineer Grindspark, one of a new generation of brilliant gnomish minds. Why, he hasn't had an explosion in over 3 prototypes.
That doesn't sound very promising.
But enough bragging. Engineer Grindspark is working on a bot that he says will help clean up the toxic airfield. You should introduce yourself to him and see if he needs any help testing it.
Perseverance is the true blueprint to success.
But yeah, we'll be dealing with this toxic airfield in just a bit. But again, this is kind of what I'm talking about. So This is New Tinkertown. This is within Dunmoreau, this whole area. Down here is Coldridge Valley. This is the area where you start off as a dwarf. And basically, dwarves exit here, gnomes exit here, and they both just kind of converge and make their way over here to Karnos. Which is why, like, once we're done with New Tinkertown, we're going to be stopping with this character, and then we'll just do the rest on our dwarven character.
Can I help you?
So, Megatork himself has heard of my little project? Splendid! I've almost finished my latest prototype, but maybe you could help me chase down those last few parts. There's just too much to do around here, and too few gnomes on their feet to help. The High Tinker has asked me to start converting some of our old bots and parts from Operation Gnomeregan. I hope to have a new line of multibots ready for a field test soon. I don't suppose you'd have some time to help, do you? There are all kinds of parts scattered around. Pick up anything that you find and bring it back to me. You never know what could turn out to be useful.
Off and away.
And that's kind of basically the gnome philosophy right there. It's like, go ahead and pick it up and bring it back. You never know what could be useful. We could probably find some use for it. It's basically their mindset. So you can see here, like, different things, different scientists, different physicians and doctors and such. Like, they have a chem set table here. Basically trying to work on, it says they're wounded infantry. But you can also imagine that they're also trying to do what they can to not only help out the survivors they've gotten out of Gnomeregan, dealing with all that radiation and such, but also to see if there's something they can do to not only help out with any possible long-term effects from all that radiation, but of course they want to also see if they can figure out a way to help out the leper gnomes that resulted from that bomb. It's kind of it's always the gnomes' mindset. It's like, let's try and see if we can figure out this problem. Very much focus on trying to solve a bunch of problems. It's one thing that makes gnomes really cool. I just realized, what is with that title? There we go. Ambassador!
Hey.
Did you get those parts? Oh, these are fantastic! Well, let's see what we can put together. Would you be interested in testing out the prototype once I'm done? Time to put the finishing touches on my bot. And he just made a bot right there from those parts I gave him. If the multi-bot works, it will help us do all kinds of jobs that are unpleasant or dangerous for us gnomes. After a thermoplug detonated, at last it's finished. Arise, my, what should I call you? How about multi-bot? Arise, my multi-bot! A couple more tweaks should do it, I think. After the thermoplug detonated his irradiator at the end of Operation Gnomeregan, toxic clouds and ooze began bubbling up at the old airfield south of town. If we don't get it under control, the contamination could spread to the rest of our lands, which the dwarves would not be happy about. Take the multibot with you and bring it close to the geysers and the green pools at the toxic airfield. Your bot should spring into action.
You have a great day now.
You can imagine why there are some players that are to this day kind of irritated that in lore, the Alliance really has not done anything to help the gnomes take back their home. They're just kind of like refugees amongst the dwarves, basically. My brother has spent years working on a cure for leper gnomes. Using his notes, I think I've perfected a process for restoring gnomes who have dissolved to sludge. Let's give this a try. Goggles, everyone! I have a feeling this is after the quest I'm supposed to get from him. Other players. What happened to me? Absolutely amazing! We've done it! Sure, he's a little small, but even by a gnome standards, but he's all there. The real question is, what will he remember? Hey, don't talk about me like I'm not here. All I know is that I'm hungry and I need to get out of these hideous, smelly clothes. That's really impressive when you think about it. Wait, come back! I have readings to take! You need to see a medic! Better make that a rocket scientist. You saw that, right? Whoosh. It just kind of took off.
Greetings.
Most of us have seen the sickly and deranged gnomes suffering from exposure to the poisons and radiation of Gnomeregan. Eventually, they will devolve further until they become mindless but mostly harmless puddles of toxic sludge. My research suggests that we may even be able to restore them from this state. Go to the toxic airfield to the south and subdue the toxic sludge I told you about, and bring back the possessions of the gnomes that they once were.
Be seeing you.
So yeah, we basically saw the end of the quest that I'm about to do right now. We saw that because the other player already turned it in before I could pick it up. Let's speed this up a bit. So yeah, you can even see these living contaminations, which basically look like water elementals, except they are from this. Look at that. Yeah. That's a lot of toxic contamination and sludge. That's bad. That's really, really bad. Well, hello there.
Pleased to meet you.
Oh, excuse me. Felt like a sneeze was coming. Ugh. Okay.
Toxic Spry Sprocket has some crazy theory about these toxic sludges being the last remnants of gnomes, so my men have orders not to engage them for now. However, the toxic airfield just south of us is teeming with living contaminations. They are elementals composed of contaminated water and other toxic materials. Left unchecked, they will overrun the town. Will you help us dispose of them?
I guess. There's the geyser. Initiating cleanup. That used to be a gnome. Come on. Come on, it's right there. Go on. Ugh. There we go. Initiating cleanup. Come on. Don't make me have to go in there. It's right there. Come on. It's right there. Oh my goodness. Yep. That bot needs to be fixed. Oh, now it does it.
I don't have a target.
There we go. Alright. Now for just 2 more of these sludges. So yeah, Thermoplug is pretty bad. He's pretty terrible to have set something off as devastating as this and cause this much horrible damage to the area, to the city, to all these gnome people. Yeah. Pretty bad. Which is why it's great when we get to taking down the dungeon, but still haven't really done anything in terms of fixing or taking back Gnomergon.
Oh, what a relief. Thank you for your help. I hope that gadget engineer Grindspark was working on helps to get the airfield cleaned up permanently.
Daylight's burning.
Alright, we got a bag. Very nice. See if I can find a merchant and quickly clear up my bags.
Making a special purchase? You have a great day now.
Alright, so now we'll go turn these in. I already showed you the end of this quest, so I'll just turn it in and then just kind of continue.
Greetings. Right. Hey.
Were you able to recover the belongings to any of the irradiated gnomes? Oh, I can't wait to give this new technology a try. We've lost more gnomes to radiation than we can count. It's time to turn that around.
Seeing you.
And you already saw the end of that.
Salutations.
Wow, I never expected it to work on the first trial. I mean, we've succeeded. I wonder what other uses that we can find for this handy little guy.
Back to Mechatork.
Report.
The cataclysm tore open deep caves beneath Frostmane Hold, and trogs flooded out of their warrens. They succeed in displacing the trolls who used to live there, and they stand to drive us out if we do not act. High Tinker Mechatork hired the renowned demolitionist Jessup McCree.
This was before Overwatch came out, just by the way.
Jessup McCree to close the caves and step the trog advance. We've received no word about whether he was able to stop the trogs. Would you look for him at his camp near Frostmane Hold, to the south beyond the toxic airfield?
Again, this was before Overwatch was ever even announced. So no, that is not a play on Jesse McCree.
Don't mind me, contaminate elementals.
How are ya?
It won't be tough to collapse the tunnel, but I'm going to need my team and my equipment before I can get to the task. It's gonna take a lot of powder to collapse those caves. I don't know whether the damnable trogs understood that they stole me supplies and kidnapped me demolitionists, but the outcome's the same. Ain't gonna be able to blow nothing up until I've got that powder back. Go south to Frostmane Hold and kill any of those trogs that you find. Any one of them could be carrying me kegs of powder. For a job like this, I normally bring me whole crew of demolitionists, but with some help in setting up the powder, the charges, and the rest of the gear, the job gets done a lot faster. Those blasted trogs have me men caged all around Frostmane Hold. Now I'm here all alone, without the personnel that I need to finish the job. You look like a capable warlock, though. Would you find the demolitionists that the trogs captured and bring them out of their cages?
See you soon.
Oh, thank you for breaking me out of here.
Thanks. Now let's blow up that cave. Let's see. I'll get to 5, and I think that's when I'll get my imp.
I'm out of range. I'm out of range.
A fellow Gnome Warlock. And now I shall summon my imp. For the record, I actually do like the quests in like how it was handled in Classic in terms of how you would acquire your pets or your demons as a warlock. The idea of you would get a quest and you would have to learn like a ritual or an incantation or something like that. I really liked that. That was stuff that I thought was really, really cool. So I can agree with those who say like the the aspect of learning that stuff just gradually in quests was kind of taken away. I've always been one who's always loved class exclusive content to really add to that whole, this is something that is unique to this particular class or race, to really add to that experience. So I can totally, get that and relate to that.
What's on your mind?
Well, did you recover me missing supplies? Well, now that's more like it. We may get around to blowing up something after all. You have me own thanks and the thanks of the men that you rescued. I've already had the boys start setting up the gear down inside the cave. It should be ready to go soon. My team has finished setting up the powder kegs and the detonator at the bottom of the cave in the western part of Frostmean Hold. All you need to do is venture down there and activate the detonator to explode the powder and collapse those tunnels. That'll stop the flow of trogs from the deep parts of the earth. Megatork will have an easier time of dealing with the remaining trogs if you take out their leader, who calls it himself Boss Brugger. Good luck.
Off with you.
Right over here. Karam? What kind of a name is that for an imp? Oh, alright. You were sleeping and I was going to let you live, but okay, fine. I'll just go ahead and finish you off. If you guys hear weird noises in the background, I think there's some yard work going on at our house. So, sorry if you hear random noises. It's one of the great things about playing Affliction. The amount of dots that you can put on enemies, especially when you start off. And then, of course, once you not only get your imp, but also get your Void Lord to help tank for you, it just makes playing Warlock so much more fun. At least for me. So we have to detonate it, but we also have to take out their leader. And their leader is somewhere down here. Where is he? Where is Boss Brugor? There he is. What? Hey. Seriously? I like how he's attacking my imp. My imp is tanking for me. That is funny. Alright. Fire in the hole! Oh, there we go! I was about to say, that's not very impressive. Considering that, you know, the work that kind of demolishers are supposed to pull off, that's a little disappointing. Oh, fine. I'll just put a dot on you and then run. It might kill you, it might not. Who knows? Well, look at that. I'm leveling as I'm putting dots on enemies. Man, if I was doing this in Classic, I would have already died like maybe 3 or 4 times. That would have been entertaining and fun to watch, wouldn't it? I'm sorry, I'll stop. I'll stop.
Great to meet you.
I could feel the explosions way up here. Really? That certainly did not seem all that strong back there. My boys did a fine job rigging up that blast, but it wouldn't have happened without your help. It's only fair that I split my contract payment with you for helping me finish the job. Oh, thank you. Well, it's time to start packing up and moving on to the next job. There's always something else to blow up out there. Somewhere, there's a mountain that needs moving, or a gorge that needs carving, and I'll be there to do it. I don't suppose that you'd do me one more favor. Would you take this report back to High Tinker Mechatork in New Tinkertown? He needs to know that the Trogs won't be bothering his people again anytime soon.
Safe travels.
I love some of the dwarf lines when you talk to them, like, safe travels, keep your feet on the ground. How are ya? Like, they're always so nice. Like, oh, how you doing? Dwarves are definitely my favorite race in the Alliance. Like many of the dwarven characters, I absolutely love. They're just bros. There's someone who's like, oh, how you doing? Would you like to have a pint? Oh, you don't drink alcohol? Oh, that doesn't matter. It's just a pint of anything. That's what I love about it. Like, they're not asking you to, like, you know, drink alcohol. They're just asking you to have a drink and just have fun and just, like, be social and just, like, be friends and, like, hey, let's have some fun together. Let's have a good time.
Got something to report?
Welcome back. We can't afford to let our enemy Thermoplug continue to tighten his grip on the rest of Gnomeregan. He has ordered his crony Crush Cog to keep us on the defensive. Hinkles, what's the latest intelligence on Razio and his men? It's been hard for our scouts to get information on what Crush Cog is planning. What we do know is that Crush Cog is using an advanced mechanical tank prototype, and his irradiated gnomes are trying to repair more than the old... I feel like I already read this. I'll try to ignore that, because I think another player triggered that. Oh, splendid news! With the Trogs taken care of, we should be able to turn our attention to Crush Cog's troublemaking. Our old enemy Thermoplug is doing his best to keep us from rebuilding and finishing our reclamation of Gnomeregan. He has sent one of his most loyal henchmen, Razlo Crushcog, and a force of irradiated gnomes to harry us. They've taken over an old arsenal up the road to the north, and Crushcog's technicians are repairing those weapons. We have to stop them before they are able to get those mechanical tanks back to online. Go to Crushcog's arsenal and eliminate as many of the technicians as you can.
I'm counting on you.
You got it, Mechatork. Oh, wait, hold on. Hello, Hinkles. We've lost more than a couple of scouts trying to find out what exactly Razlo Crushcog plans to do with all those mechanical tanks his irradiated technicians are repairing. We can't afford to take it slowly anymore. We must act before Crushcog turns his followers and his weapons on us. This techno-grenade packs enough explosive power to destroy the mechanical tanks and deny Crushcog their use. Take it north with you along the road to Crushcog's arsenal and take out those tanks.
Off and away.
So as you can probably guess, in the starter zones, there's usually one big main quest line, but then there are some other extra side quests that can also get you some other things. Like, for example, that one quest that he just gave me will let me be able to get a waste item, which I don't have. So this is a good way for you to kind of fill out the rest of the slots in your gear by doing extra side quests in the starter zones, just early on.
I need to target something first.
Destroy the tank!
I need to get closer.
I feel like I'm taking that away from the other player. Never try to take stuff away from another player. I may have done that just now, but I thought, well, you know, there's other ones over there that she can be able to go get. So, my bad. Wasn't trying to take it away from you. Alright, I think this player is looking for for enemies to do for the quest. There we go. See, here's something that's great. We both put a dot on that enemy, which means we both get credit for that quest. In vanilla, you could not do that. That's something I absolutely love about Retail WoW, is that you can be able to all share credit with quests as opposed to, you know, like fighting over credit for it. Or if you're trying to group, and for one reason or another, groups just don't happen. So... just, that's my way of letting that player know, alright, I'm done. I'm not going to take any more of those items that you need for the quests. I'll let you go ahead and collect those on your own. But it was nice that that player was basically going, alright, let's go ahead and put dots, because that was a priest, and no doubt they had Shadow Word Pain. So they could put a dot on the enemy, I could put a dot on the enemy, and we both get credit for those, which is wonderful. That is absolutely fantastic quest design. And it's one of the, you know, that's why I'm one of those that shares the opinion that they've gotten better every expansion since vanilla when it came to their quest design and the way that the game was designed to work. I know many people disagree with that, especially vanilla fanboys, but, you know, that's my opinion.
For Gnomeregan.
Yeah, they basically keep repeating the same dialogue.
Can I help you?
Megatork will be pleased to hear that you have ruined Crushcog's plans to use our old weapons for his followers. Without the mechanical tanks under his command, he'll be weak and vulnerable.
You have a great day now.
Right, level 7, and I now have a belt and bracers to fill out my slots there. I also have some jerky. Oh, it's yeah, it's re-showing the event from before. Hey, Kelsey.
Ready for action.
I see you in BFA.
While High Tinker Megatork, his military advisors, and I finalize the plans for the attack on Raziel Crushcog, I've sent my assistant ahead to Brewwall Village to begin preparations. To get to Brewwall Village, follow the road southeast of out of town. Once you arrive, find Jarvie Shadowstep and see if he needs any help. Our dwarven cousins have dispatched a cadre of mountaineers from Ironforge to join us in the fight against Crushcog.
I'll be waiting.
Yes. Yes. We know, Kelsey, we know. By the way, Pandar, Monk Trainer. Anyways, oops, my bad. Trust me, we'll get to the Pandaran starter zone much later. And forgive me if I gush about it, because, just a heads up, I love Miss Pandaria, I love the Pandarans, I love the monk class. I am a huge fan of Miss Pandaria, and I'm getting very sick and tired of people who bash on it just because of the stupid Kung Fu Panda nonsense.
Pleased to
Which
meet
is factually incorrect, by the way.
Ah, yes, Kelsey told me to expect you. There's still much to do before we can take on Crushcog. We have reliable intelligence that Razio Crushcog has taken up a defensive position on the island in the middle of frozen ice flow lake. To make matters worse, he's surrounded himself with a network of sentry bots that will detect any possible attackers. If we're to take on Crushcog, we'll need to take out those sentries. This device launches a dark, sticky paint that will coat the optical sensors of Crushcog's sentry bots. Use it to take out his early warning system.
daylight's burning.
You'll notice the number of the dwarves that are here, a number of the Dun Moreau mountaineers that were sent here. I mean, part of the reason, and, well, I'll go more into this when we do the, get on our dwarf and do the rest of Dun Moreau. But let's just say that with the whole thing that's going on with the political divide, along with the three hammers and the throne involving, involving those three individuals as well as the three groups, it's caused a number of issues, especially with their relations with the gnomes. But also, the whole Operation Gnomergon thing was also kind of a uh-oh type of situation.
Off with you.
All right. Oh, look, it's that priest I was with just a moment ago. By the way, here's the fishing trainer if you want to... Or not the trainer, just someone who has fishing supplies. So, go ahead and... Because you got to do this. You gotta be like, well, first you have to make sure you target one of these things. So let's go over here, because I don't want to interfere with that. And then you... Optical sensor malfunction detected, shutting down. And there we go. That's all there is to it. You have to make sure you just target one of these things, and then use this.
I'm out of range.
There we go. That's 2. Get over here. Get back here. Make sure you point at it. That's 3. I'm going to go over here because, again, I don't want to take away progress from another player. Believe it or not, there are players out there that actually love doing that. Taking progress away from other players. Those people are words that I can't... Well, I could say, but I'd rather not. For one reason or another. But they are horrible, horrible, horrible people. Not as bad as griefers, but that's a whole another separate topic, which I will not get into.
Greetings.
Ah, you've given us just the opening that we'll need to get the drop on Crushcog. Excellent work. Our cousins, the dwarves of Ironforge, have agreed to help us in the battle against Razlo Crushcog. Mountaineer Stonegrid is a veteran who knows Dun Moreau well. He and High Ticker Mechatork stand ready on a small, snow-covered island in Iceflow Lake to the north. Meet up with them there and let the High Ticker know when you are ready to face the traitor Crushcog. Take this orbital targeting device and use it during the battle. It will help guide the High Tinker's special weapons.
Be seeing you.
Yep, paint the ground target for one of the special weapons for Mechatork. And they are right over here, basically ready to have a face-off.
Engineer Thermoplug refuses to acknowledge that his defeat is imminent. He has sent Razlo Crushcog to prevent us from rebuilding our beloved Gnomregon.
So this player wants to invite me to a group so we can do this together.
Falling back to his master in defeat.
did you escape detection by my sentry bots? No matter. My guardians and I will make short work of you. To arms, men!
All right.
Mechatork cannon!
True sons of Nomoragan!
Mechatork beam! Mechatork missiles! Mechatork!
Did you name everything after yourself, Mechatork?
Something on your mind? Mechatork missiles!
I can't use that item yet.
Mechatork ray! Mechatork missiles! Mechatork missiles! Mechatork ray! We've done it! We are victorious! With Crush Cog defeated, Thermoplug is sure to be quaking in his mechano-tank! And rightly so! You're next, Thermoplug! You're next!
I am in your debt.
Always thank your friend or your partner or someone who helped you out with the quest or grouped. Always thank or bow. You can even do so if you're playing on opposite factions. If I'm playing on a Horde or Alliance character and I come across someone who's playing on the other faction and we do something together, since I can't actually, do the speak thing because of the stupid language barrier thing, I always do a /bow or a /thank, as it's basically the only way I can communicate to someone on the other faction to let them know, hey, thanks for helping me out.
Can I help you?
Because I'm one of those who vehemently disagrees with the devs that we are supposed to hate the other faction, or rather, supposed to hate the players on the other faction. We are finally free of Razlo Crushcog and his interference. With the defeat of Crushcog and his forces, Thermoplug can't afford to send any more of his followers to the surface. I can't wait for the day when we defeat him for good. Along with High Tigger Mechatork and his Mountaineer Stone Grind, has defeated Razlo Crushcog.
Razlo Crushcog is no more! The people of Ironfort and Nobragon speak with one voice this day! Hear us well, Thermoplug! The day of your defeat approaches!
Oh, the music's real loud. Okay, hold on. It's so loud! Alright.
Some of the Mountaineers under Stonegrind's command were telling me about the situation out at Karanos. When the Trogs took over Frostmane Hold, it sounds like the surviving trolls fled westward, deep into the heart of the Dwarven homeland. Now they threaten the Dwarven town of Karanos. It sounds like they are going to need all the help that they can get. You should go to Karanos and introduce yourself to Captain Theron. Just follow the road east out of Brenwall and keep going until you see the town.
Alright, so I may as well show you guys the pathway out of New Tinkertown towards Karanos, in case you're curious about where you're supposed to go. Now, of course, it'll show you the arrow, and you can always, like I said, or just showed you, I can pull up the map and see, oh, okay, there's a road here, and it goes all the way to this location in Karanos. So you basically just follow this pathway over here. Obviously, you'll have to do this on foot, unless, if you're a new player, since you won't be able to have any kind of mount whatsoever until you get to level 20. And if you're curious, well, how did you get this chauffeur mount thing here? Let me see if I can find it for you. Here we go. So the things I've been putting on are heirlooms, and once you have gotten up to 35 different heirlooms, you are rewarded with this mount here. So they do cost quite a bit of gold, but considering some of the stuff that it does to make your leveling experience much more less of a hassle, and you're able to actually acquire this thing, it's pretty nice.
How are you?
I was supposed to be bringing these casks of ale to the inn in Karanos. They contain a mysterious new ale produced by an upstart brewery based in Brunel village. As I was leaving town, I was attacked by a frostmane troll raiding the party. It's going to take me days to repair the wagon. I don't suppose that you'd be willing to do me a favor, will you? These big kegs aren't going anywhere, but I have some smaller sample casks. Would you bring them to Karanos for me? Just follow the road to the southeast.
Keep your feet on the ground.
So you can see that kind of camaraderie that there is between the dwarves and the gnomes, which makes sense. Ignore that guy. That's part of the event that's going on right now, which is the Lunar Festival. That's an elder. So, of course, this is basically one of the major hubs. This is the area that I told you about, how it basically converges both the gnome and dwarf starting areas. You'll come here. You'll talk to this guy. This is your first major inn that you'll be coming to. And this is where you'll be able to kind of like start establishing yourself here. Basically, you'll be able to start meeting other, finding other trainers. You'll be able to, bound your Hearthstone here as your first major inn.
Well met.
Oh, welcome, visitor. Have you come to the inn to rest, or do you have need a new Hearthstone? Oh, these look promising. I've heard great things about the short and stout brewery, but I haven't had the chance to try their ale until now. While you're here, relax a little. If you need a spare Hearthstone or wish to make Karanos your home, just speak to me and I'll be happy to help. So this is basically the way for you to kind of learn about bounding your Hearthstone to this location. So that way, whenever you use your Hearthstone, you'll be able to just go right back here. So that is basically it for the Gnome Starter Zone, New Tinker Town, and then you just kind of like start working on Dun Moreau. And I will show you how that works when we switch up to our Dwarven character. So say goodbye to this gnome character I made, kind of a play on Dr. Emmett Brown with that hair. Let me go ahead and take it off just one last look. Great Scott, Marty! I'm a gnome! What has happened? I'm sorry, just couldn't resist. It just looked like Doc Brown to me from Back to the Future. Anyways, say goodbye to our gnome character. He will never be seen again, as I will delete him after this to help out with my character limit for the time being. We will be exploring some other starter zones. We will probably be going to, if you're wondering, well, which ones am I going to look at next? Probably to help out with the timeline, considering that a lot of this has to do with Cataclysm. Why don't we go back in time a couple expansions before that and instead focus on the Blood Elves and the Draenei, or the Draenei. And yes, my attempt at doing the voices and dialects and such will continue in those zones, especially in Azure Mist and Blood Mist. Stay tuned.